You know I don't want to do this, right? Just talk Pac Mayweather. Do you have any idea the ramifications that could have? I mean, we could alienate people from the sites or ratings. What ratings? You don't have any. Who are you going to alienate? The one guy who found the site while he was trying to find Janot's Irish boxes? The fight, we don't even know if it's going to happen. If the fight does happen, we don't know what kind of fight they're going to fight. We don't want to get into all the hype, the speculation. You can do that without getting into the hype. Real stats. So make a video without all the hype, real talk about thoughts, predictions on the Manny Pac fight. That's what you're telling me to do? Pac Mayweather. Just talk. You know, one of my biggest fears with this Pac Mayweather fight was that, you know, just like Teddy Atlas said, it's if it turns out to be an epic tale of guts and stamina, you know, he'd be surprised. But it's already great in my mind. And that's one thing about this fight. No matter how it turns out, no matter what you have to say, this is going to be one of the most dynamic fights of two fighters in my lifetime. And I'm excited about it. But, you know, it's going to be decided by fist. By going out there, taking each other's dabs. Time stands still. The world's waiting to find out who's going down. And, you know, Mayweather's responsible defensive technique and Pac's explosive, reckless, offensive, you know, it could fail to produce an exciting fight. And that was one of the things that I was worried about coming into this. You know, talking pure stats, Mayweather's got the reach, 72 to Pacquiao 67. It's going to be an orthodox southpaw lineup. You know, I would have liked to have seen this fight a couple years ago. You know, we all would have, but we don't. We have it now, so we can only go with what we have now. Pac's last couple fights haven't been very good. Mayweather's coming off of a couple good wins. You know, I think that taking into account everything that's going on now, with the betting in Vegas, Pac's set to be the underdog. And he hadn't had that since the 2008 fight with De La Hoya, you know. So you can't underestimate Pax being the underdog and him wanting to win. But at the same time, we have to look at facts. We have to look at straight, you know, hard, cold facts. And that's what we've continued to do here in part 2 of the Manny Pacquiao Floyd Mayweather fight breakdown. Janot's Irish boxing, Weatherford, Texas. You know, continuing on with what we were saying in the first video, you know, figuring out Mayweather's defensive puzzle. Historically, southpaws have been able to do it better than other fighters, and Manny's one of the best in history. Mayweather's defense, just like his father did, just like his uncle did, is to hide behind that lead shoulder and drop his lead hand, and that becomes a little trickier to do against a southpaw opponent because of what you have to understand is the angles that are involved and the angles that he's used to. And against an orthodox fighter, the right hand is patting away jabs, it's patting away hooks from the opponent's left, and the lead shoulder, if you tuck it in, rolls off all the right-handed shots. And as against a southpaw, these left hands are more powerful. They're longer. They're not so easy to stop or to parry, and they come in from different angles. So this makes it a legitimate question of what way to fight this fight, you know. And it's not a question of who's the better fighter, Pacquiao or Mayweather. It becomes a question of how do you fight or predict a fight against Pacquiao Mayweather, because there's never been a fight like it. But that's what makes it so darn interesting, right? So part two, you know, continued. You know, Manny Pacquiao and Mayweather are the first two fighters in history to ever face each other that hold belts in 4 different divisions. If Pac wins, he'll be the first in history to hold 5 different weight classes. But the thing is this is not going to be an easily won fight by any means. It's not going to be a normal fight by any means. One thing that I think is going to surprise a lot of people is to hear that, you know, the words overmatched, the words contender, the words pretender, the words arrogant, the words, they mean certain things to certain people. Me, I'm not going to listen to these things. I'm not going to get into the hype. But the bottom line is that at the end of the day, with Pacquiao being violence personified, being on the attack and, fighting during the day so he can eat at night, that constant arrogant style in a way, to push the pace, to push it like that against someone like Floyd Mayweather, who is an artist in the ring, who's cool, calm, and collected, can easily work against Pac, and at the same time, it could not be a brain fight like that. It could be a physical fight like that. And we all know what we want to see, but the fact that both of these guys seem more to be becoming parodies of themselves. Manny's fighting worse, and he's hunting for the knockout, while Floyd is so concerned about his undefeated record that he basically refused to box against Maidana, if you guys remember. Instead, he clinched it up, tied it up. It almost stopped the fight, and the bottom line is that this fight here, as all accustomed as we've come to the threatening and the talking back and forth, and this is nearly a perfect size matchup as far as size, age, skill. These guys have been looking for each other for a while, but we didn't get them when we wanted them, in my opinion. But the politics of boxing has kept these two guys apart for a while, and whether you're just a casual watcher or a true fan, we've been clamoring for this fight. We've been clamoring for it, and the window's closing. Both of these guys are almost going to be 40. And even though you can go back in time or we can't go back in time as much as we'd like to and say that, 5 years ago, Manny, the wrecking machine he was, he can't beat Mayweather now. Or whether you could say, as much energy that Mayweather puts into his mental game, at the end of the day, he doesn't have the knockout power, and nose to nose, Pac's faster. I want to try to get away from all that. And I want to try to say that for one, truly speaking, two fighters like this have never faced each other. And no matter what your opinions are about Mayweather, he has he has his style figured out, just like Pac does, just how every boxer has to. But Mayweather likes to control every situation, and Pac likes to control every situation, and I think that Pac's getting upset as this new conventional boxer he's becoming is going to play into Mayweather's cards in most situations in this boxing ring. And you have to understand it makes him so easy to figure out at times that the rhythm that Pac needs to set, when Pac comes out, the first 2 rounds need to have no discernible rhythm. They need to, Marquez said that Pac's two first wins against him, he credited him. The reason that he credited the win was because he had no discernible rhythm. He was it was awkward angles. It was there was no rhythm. He wasn't being this fighter that he's becoming, this scientific robot puncher. And you know, Pac used to fight in a way that no one understood, in almost a different language, because you know, Pac's biggest thing, I think, in this fight is going to be being the boxer fighting Mayweather like he should have, fighting Mayweather like he's fighting him 5 years ago as himself, 4 years ago. You know, not being so, because when I said this earlier, I alluded to this earlier, proactive and reactive at the same time. If you're trying to bait your opponents in and you change it from orthodox to southpaw, or you throw in different, different variables like that, everything changes. It can change so easy, you know, and it's this whole combination of all these elements that could just explode, all these combustible elements that makes this fight right here a question of who's more versatile as a fighter. And you find this a lot when you come into more orthodox southpaw lineups. It's the more versatile fighter that usually wins. But you can't predict how this fight's going to go. You can have your opinions on it, but there's really no way to know. You know, there's no way to tell. There's no secret about it. Everybody's going to have an opinion. Everybody's going to have their views on it. I just wanted to kind of give mine in these couple videos here, just because from a standpoint of someone that doesn't go for all the hype, that doesn't go for all the, oh, Mayweather's not training or da 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 da, you know, I want to look at it from a completely, I want to look at this fight like Teddy Atlas is looking at it, like Tyson was looking at it, you know, like it would be a good idea to look at it from a perspective not of having an opinion. I wanted to walk into this with no I wanted to walk in this with no preconceived notions, and at the same time bring with me everything I know about these two fighters. And this is really hard to do, you know, and it seems like sometimes in this video it's only getting worse. But this is what happens when I start conveying my thoughts and the thinking of that thought and trying to convey all those thoughts at the same time. So let's take a break. So, you know, that turning into what it turned into. This is part 2, which turned into more of a ramble than anything. But I wanted this to be more of an analysis than a prediction, and now that's all I was alluding to, trying to rather, more of an analysis than a prediction. I will give my predictions on the fight in a separate video, but part 2 is going up, and part 3 is on the way.